Let me tell you a story.
Family and freedom.
Not a textbook story,
beautiful
not a
day.
political
God
speech,
bless America.
just a human story about how America came to be. Long before America was called America, this land already existed. Wide forests, endless rivers, open plains, and mountains that touched the sky. For thousands of years, Native American tribes lived here. They hunted, farmed, raised families, told stories, and lived in balance with the land. This was their home. Meanwhile, far across the ocean in Europe, life was hard for many people. There were kings and queens, strict laws, heavy taxes, religious pressure, and constant wars. For ordinary people, freedom was limited. You were born into a class, and most of the time you stayed there. Many people felt trapped. They dreamed of something better, a fresh start, a place where they could live freely and build their own future. Then in 1492, everything began to change. A sailor named Christopher Columbus crossed the Atlantic Ocean. He thought he was reaching Asia, but instead he landed in a completely new world, at least new to Europeans. Word spread fast. There was land across the ocean, a lot of land. Land with resources, space, and opportunity. Over time, European powers like Spain, France, and England wanted a piece of it. In the early 1600s, English settlers arrived. Some came for wealth, some came for religious freedom, some simply came to survive. One famous ship, the Mayflower, carried a group of settlers to the New World. The journey was long, cold, and dangerous. Many didn't know if they would survive the trip. When they finally arrived, reality hit hard. The winters were brutal, food was scarce, diseases spread quickly. Many settlers died in the first years, but the ones who survived didn't give up. They built small communities like Jamestown and Plymouth. Slowly, colony by colony, settlements grew along the eastern coast. At first, these colonies were controlled by Britain. The king ruled from thousands of miles away. The colonists followed British laws and paid British taxes. As time passed, the colonies grew stronger. More people arrived, cities expanded, trade increased, and something important happened. People began to feel like this land was truly theirs, but Britain still treated them like subjects, not partners. Taxes kept increasing. The colonists had no real voice in government, no representatives, no say in decisions that affected their lives. One phrase summed up their anger: no taxation without representation. Tension kept building. Then in 1773, something symbolic happened. In Boston, a group of colonists boarded British ships and threw loads of tea into the harbor. This became known as the Boston Tea Party. It wasn't about tea.
One, two,
it was
three,
about respect,
everybody!
freedom, and control.
That's it, keep going!
Britain responded harshly. More troops, more pressure, more punishment. At that point, conflict was unavoidable. In 1775, the American Revolutionary War began. Farmers, shopkeepers, and ordinary people took up weapons against one of the strongest empires in the world. It sounds impossible, but they believed in something bigger than fear. Leaders like George Washington emerged. He wasn't perfect, but he was determined. Then came a moment that changed history forever. In 1776, the colonies declared independence. They wrote a document that shocked the world. The Declaration of Independence said something radical, that all people are created equal, that they have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
We could start with a survey.
These weren't just words. They were a challenge to kings and empires everywhere. The war continued for years. The colonists struggled. They lacked supplies, training, and money, but they had belief. With determination and help from countries like France, they finally won. In 1783, Britain officially recognized the independence of the United States of America. A new nation was born, but independence was only the beginning. The next question was harder. How do you build a country? America's leaders wanted something different. They didn't want another king. They didn't want all power in one place, so they created a new system. They wrote the U.S. Constitution, a framework for government based on balance, law, and rights. Power would be divided. Freedom of speech, religion, and expression would be protected. George Washington became the first president. and the experiment began. America grew fast. People from all over the world arrived. Europeans, Africans, Asians, all chasing the same idea, opportunity. But the journey wasn't perfect. The country faced deep contradictions. Slavery existed in a land that spoke of freedom. This led to pain, conflict, and eventually a devastating civil war. There were economic crashes, social struggles, moments of shame, and moments of pride. Yet, step by step, America kept moving forward. It became a center of invention, industry, culture, and power. From factories to airplanes, from Hollywood to the moon landing. All of it traced back to that original idea that people could shape their own destiny. So, how was America really built? Not just with guns or money, but with risk, with belief, with people willing to cross oceans, challenge empires, and fight for a future they couldn't fully see. America wasn't born perfect. It was born unfinished. And in many ways, it's still a work in progress. But its story, a story of struggle, hope, freedom, and contradiction, is what made it one of the most influential nations in the world. And that is how America began.